Hi guys, my name is Mike and I'm from Mars FM. Today I am sitting here with Cal Walsh, who is a candidate for Vice President of Education. Cal, how are you doing?
I'm good, Mike. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm very excited to be doing this interview. I think the MSU elections are always a hot time in the year, so I've been looking forward to it. How are you feeling?
I'm good, yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, second week of campaigning, just getting going now, voting next week. It's an exciting time. Good to see everyone getting out and getting engaged.
And there is. I've already seen dinosaurs running around campus already.
I think been all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I think we're getting into the spirit of it now.
Absolutely.
We're kicking into high gear. Anyway, so Cal, obviously this is it's a short little podcast just to explain your views. So why don't you kick us off? Tell us about yourself, you as a person.
Well, like you already mentioned, my name is Cal. I'm 22. I'm in my final year studying philosophy and sociology. I'm writing my dissertation at the moment, so I'm sure you can understand how stressful final year can be.
I can understand it automatically.
But I'm excited to be involved in this election. You know, I think student politics is a really important area to become invested in.
I agree with that. So Cal, I want to jump off. Right? Why did you decide to run for the position of Vice President of Education?
In all honesty, I was inspired by our current student union executive. You know, in first semester, I'm sure everyone remembers the Where's My Levy campaign.
Of course.
And the two protests that went alongside it.
Groundbreaking, if you ask me.
Honestly, it was very moving and really inspiring for a lot of people on campus. And I thought, you know, if the student union can be seen to obviously represent the needs of the students, I felt like I kind of wanted to get involved in that and really make a change to people's time at university.
I agree. Do you feel like you embody the core principles of being a VP?
I think absolutely, yeah. I think my first job will always be to represent the students if I'm elected, of course. I think some of the core principles of, especially around being Vice President of Education, means representing students' academic needs. Obviously, everyone comes to college to kind of have a good time, you know, meet new people, try new things. But I think education can sometimes get lost in people's priorities. So I want to be able to represent students in all of their academic needs with their, you know, faculties and their lecturers and everything. I think representation is really important, and I want to really make it clear that students' needs come first in this university, and I think being vice president would help me get that across.
I agree, as they should. Can you tell us, obviously this is a high profile, hard working role. Can you tell us about any experience that you feel you might be able to learn from and give you more plaudits for the role?
Well, within the university, I have a history of being heavily involved in a lot of committees and a lot of clubs and societies. I've been vice president, and I'm currently president of the Frisbee Club on campus. So that obviously means a lot of kind of man management and negotiating people's needs and desires and people's availabilities. I'm involved in a lot of societies on campus as well. And even outside of campus, I have a history of, you know, organizing around like social issues, making sure people feel represented in their community and making sure people's desired changes get implemented.
I understand that. How do you feel for when you're seeing this role? What do you think are the most pressing issues that you need to address as soon as you get in?
I think there are a couple of things going on in Maynooth University that need to be addressed very quickly. Obviously, within the role of education, I think people's, you know, time in university needs to be prioritized towards, you know, getting their degree. But I also think after people's degrees, we need a lot more connection between postgraduate availabilities and offers of internships and everything. We need to start connecting people towards their life after college while they still have the freedom to negotiate around those things here.
So do you feel like the university doesn't prepare students enough for like life after college as well, or? I feel like that's a feeling that a lot of students hold. I feel like people come to the end of their degree having spent obviously a great, you know, 3 or 4 years, maybe even longer for some, in university, you know, learning, amassing a lot of skills, and then when they graduate, they can kind of feel a little bit isolated, a little bit kind of left without any options looking forward. I want to make sure that people's transition out of university is as easy as possible, and to make sure that during their time here, they get the opportunities to explore a lot of different avenues for what they might do once they finish their education. Is there any techniques or any ideas that you feel like you could bring that would help that? I think having more exposure to obviously postgraduate opportunities on campus. Obviously, the university does a lot of good work with bringing in a lot of companies and a lot of kind of workshops. I want to make that more widely available and a lot more accessible to students all across degrees across the university. I understand that. Regarding students currently studying in Maynooth, right, are there any changes you would make to the current education system here?
Yeah, I'm a huge proponent for what I would call blended learning. Obviously, you and I experienced a lot of our college during the COVID period.
Yeah, of course.
So all resources were kind of moved online, lectures held online. And I thought the availability and accessibility of notes, PowerPoints, like video lectures, I thought that was a better way to conduct education. And I think now that we've returned to in-person classes, I see a lot of that being lost. I see a lot of kind of vague notes being posted by lecturers. The accessibility to the lectures is not necessarily great. So I would be a huge proponent for having mandatory recorded lectures online, having like properly labeled notes, so that students feel that even if they are forced to miss a class due to whatever reason, every reason is valid for missing a class in your time here. I think those students need to have better access to resources so that they don't feel as stressed when it comes up to assignments and examinations. So
basically, you want students to have the option between online learning and in-person learning as well.
Absolutely. I think, we pay the fees in this university. The education should be suited towards our needs. And in this current time, a lot of students will work jobs in order to afford, food, housing, the accommodation crisis, even like public transport costs. So I think that students shouldn't be punished for having to, go out and work and earn enough money to pay for these things, as well as mature students who may have kids at home or disabled students who may not feel able to come to class on one particular day. They, again, shouldn't be punished for, these outside circumstances.
Perfect. In terms of your view of the role, what would you say your goals are for if you are elected?
My goals for operating within the student union is to kind of shift a lot of the students' approaches towards the union. I feel some students can look upon the union and see kind of an incredibly political environment that maybe they feel they can't access themselves. I want to completely subvert that relationship. I want the students to feel actively engaged in the student union. Again, this comes back to the Where's My Levy campaign, to see the student body on campus be so politically engaged for what they deserve, not only what they want. I felt that that is a much healthier relationship between the students and the union. I would like to open up student union politics and make it a little less of a kind of scary proposition to get engaged on campus politically.
Now, obviously, student wants and desires are the main horcrux of your campaign running. How do you feel like you could be able to consistently incorporate that if you're elected?
Well, I'm obviously a huge proponent for democracy and accountability. I think student needs should be able to be freely brought up to the student union, and there should be dialogues with the union and the faculty heads around what students need. So I would hold kind of open forums for people to come and talk to me, bring up their own issues. My door will always be open to any sort of academic, educational issues, or even issues outside of that if people feel comfortable to come up and speak to me. I want to be a representative of the students here, and I feel like that only comes from the bottom up. It would be useless for me to go to faculties and departments and talk about what I want and what I feel is best for the students without having a basis of their desires for what they feel that I should be doing and how I should be representing them if I was so lucky to be elected.
Cal, I think you've outlined your views, beliefs, and ideas excellently today. I just have one last question for you. Why do you think the students of Maynooth should choose you as their VP of Education?
Well, I think a vote for me is a vote for change. I'm always going to side with the students. I'm always going to represent their desires and needs to the best of my ability. And I think a vote for me is a vote for breaking down the barrier between the student body and student politics. We need to be able to make this university what we want of it and not allow the people at the top to dictate how our education should go.
Perfect. Cal, I want to say a massive thank you for coming on. I wish you the best of luck with your election. Obviously, I know it's a hotly contested race with 4 other candidates running too. Hopefully we'll get to speak to them all. But Cal, thank you once again for coming to speak to us today.
Thanks, Mike, for having me on. And if I can say one last thing, I'd like to encourage everyone to get out and vote on March 7th and 8th. You can vote online, you can vote on campus. There will be people walking around asking you to submit your vote. And if you've liked what you've heard today, I want to encourage you all to vote for Cal #1 for VP of Education, because together we can.
Thank you guys very much for listening, and we look forward to seeing you guys soon again. Goodbye.